um, emotional intelligence on the behalf of some of these NFL representatives. And why does that issue hit so hard for me? When I was in college, I was in my senior year of college, going to, like, finishing up my senior year of college, and I was in a car, in a car with some friends, and we were driving. I knew the area of Salisbury, but I didn't know where the house was. So we pulled over. I pulled over to the side, turned the car off, and my friend's girlfriend had called us because she knew what my car looked like, and she said, "I know what your I see your car. I see Darryl's car. Just pull up to here and you can come on inside." So as I'm coming down, as I hear that, I turn the car back on, and there's a stop sign a little bit further down. So I signal to go left, and I stop at the stop sign like you're supposed to do. And then, next thing I know, I see cops. I see the cop cars, like out of nowhere, a cop car with the flashers coming on. Mm-hmm. First thing I'm thinking is like, what the fuck did I do? Because he stopped me in the middle of the turn, so I didn't get to complete the damn turn.
Right.
So I pulled over because I saw the flashers. He doesn't tell me why he stopped me. He comes into the car and he says, license and registration. Doesn't tell me why he stopped me, but I give it to him because I don't want no trouble. This was like fresh off the Ferguson thing when the guy was shot. And this was, me and my mom were just talking about how you can literally get shot for just walking down the street, and here I am in this situation, like right when I go back to college.
Right.
So he pulls us over, asks for the license and registration, and then so we're waiting. I don't know why I've been stopped. I just know I got pulled over. Then he comes over. The first cop goes back to his car to like run our stuff. So it was me, my friend Brian, who was white, and then my other friend Julian, who was in the back. He was in the back seat, black guy. He asked for all of our IDs. We gave it to him. Next thing I know, another cop comes up that was in that car and pulls his gun out. Mind you, I don't know why I've been stopped. Mm-hmm. So he pulls his gun out, says, "Don't reach for your bag." And we're like, I'm stuck. Like, he's pointed it at us, so he's scanning through the car, like, "Don't reach for your bag." My friend Julian had a bag underneath him. Mind you, we're all of age. I was 21 at the time, going on 22, but I don't drink or smoke. So I wasn't drunk driving, and none of us had drugs on us. Mm-hmm. But we had alcohol in the car, but it was concealed, and we all were of age, so there's no infraction there. Right. Julian wasn't reaching for his bag. So then he he's like pointing his gun at, and I literally was about to get shot in the face and I didn't even know what I was being stopped for. Mm-hmm. So I was stuck. Time literally slowed down. I've never, up to that point, and I've grown up in some urban areas, but up to that point, I had never had a gun pointed into my face. And that was the first time I ever had a gun pointed into my face. And I had lived in some pretty rough areas, or grew up in some rough areas, and not once did I have a gun pointed at me, until by somebody who's quote unquote supposed to protect us. So he points the gun at us, and he, once he realizes there's no threat, because I don't have, we're not doing anything, he puts his gun away. Again, I'm going to keep reiterating this. I don't know why I have been stopped, but so far I've had a gun pointed on us. A gun pulled on us. So then he goes back to his car, and then the other cop that stopped us initially told us to get out the car. Still don't know why we're being stopped. So he takes us out, pats us down, pats us all down, and he says, "Okay, now we need you to sit on the curb. We're going to search your car." And then at this point, like three more cars are pulled up, one of which is a K9 unit. So they get the K9 unit out, scan our car, run our car, Of course, they don't find nothing because, like I said, I'm not a drug pusher. I don't have any drugs. If they had found drugs, it was because they would have planted them there. So that was something that was running in my mind. But they didn't find nothing. So we're sitting on the curb for about 20 at this point for about 20 minutes, just sitting on the curb while they have the K9 unit run through our stuff. I still have no idea why the fuck I'm being stopped. And then he lets us get back in the car. Still hasn't told me why I'm being stopped. Gives me my license and registration back. He's like, all right, you can go. So I asked, why did you stop me? And I can't make this up. The warning ticket said, driver failed to signal continuously 100 feet before making a left turn. That was the reason to pull guns out, to pull the K9 units up, to pat us down and violate us. All of that because of a left turn that I never got to complete because you stopped me in the middle of the turn, but we're not going to talk about that. So I say all that to say, and then I actually did go through the legal process, and I actually sued the Salisbury Police Department because at that point for me, it wasn't about money. It was about proving that I wasn't going to take this line down, and I'm going to go to the proper channels to get this addressed. So what happened? I knew you was going to ask that. So I took them to court. We had a whole court proceeding. We had depositions before, preliminary depositions, all this stuff. First of all, there were cops there that came and testified that weren't there that night. There were cops that were there that all their stories weren't lining up. Everybody had something different to say, and none of it lined up. K9 units are supposed to have cameras. They asked them, why didn't you have a camera? They said, because that was an older model. Okay, so why wasn't a police report filed? Because the police report wasn't filed until I notified them that I was taking them to court. They had no answer for that. So many different answers. Why was the gun pulled out? Why didn't you have a body? Why wasn't there a body camera? Why wasn't none of this being recorded? If you're supposed to, if this is the protocol you're supposed to take, they had an excuse for everything that didn't line up. So I'm thinking, it's still a chance, even though they're lying, that the justice system will serve me, and justice will be served. Not serve me, but that justice will be served. Take me out of the equation. Like I said, it's about mistreatment of American citizens in this country by law enforcement. So we get to it's up to a jury to decide which way they're going to go. The two things that were up for discussion: one, were my Fourth Amendment rights being violated? And two, did the officer overstep his boundaries as a police officer given the situation? And the jury said no. They said no. So the whole case was finished because the jury didn't think that my rights were violated and didn't think that the officer overstepped his boundaries, right? So can't nobody tell me about the fucking justice system. You can say all you want about this, like we have like a fair and impartial justice system, but it's taken from a person who was wronged by that justice system in the worst way possible. I wasn't doing anything wrong, and I almost lost my life. And then when I took it to the channels you're supposed to go to say fight them in court, the jury didn't find anything wrong with it. Justice wasn't served. So fuck the justice system as far as I'm concerned, because there is no justice system. It doesn't work. The system's broken. Now, with that being said, I also still try to inform other people on the right things to do when you come across law enforcement. Because I don't hate the police. The police are valuable. The good cops they do what they're supposed to do. But it's these corrupt cops who are not the majority, but they fuck it up for everyone else. And that goes back to society. There's plenty of good people out there, but there's also a minority of bad people out there that fuck it up for everyone else. So I, think that is why I am so adamant when you talk about the lack of emotional intelligence and the lack of just awareness. When people get caught up about the fucking NFL getting mad at Kaepernick because he's kneeling, don't consider the reason he's kneeling. Don't consider that a Green Beret who served his country actually told him to kneel. Don't consider that there's the issue has nothing to do with the fucking anthem, which has its racist. If you listen to the lyrics, it has its racist roots. It had everything to do with the mistreatment of American citizens in this country. That's what it boils down to. So that's something that really, really grinds my gears. It's just like a lack of emotional intelligence, a lack of compassion for your fellow man. I heard Minister Louis Farrakhan, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, said one time, when you see men fall, don't laugh, learn. Learn. Because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation, nor from the weakness that causes us to stumble and fall. When you laugh at someone else's fall, white or black, rich or poor, your enemy or your friend, you're laughing and opening the way for yourself, your own demise when you do that. But because to laugh and not learn, to make mockery and not to understand, is to make the same mistakes yourself. So when you see men fall, don't laugh, learn. Learn. To elaborate on that, that just means uplifting the person. If you see a person that's struggling, if you can't do anything to help them, then just leave them alone. Don't be judgmental. Don't point the finger at them. We're too judgmental. We project a lot on people, our ideals and our beliefs. Without considering what's going on in that person's life. You call that woman a whore because she's got 6 children by 6 different men, but you don't know what position she was in that came about. So we're too judgmental in that regard and just looking at people at face value, but not considering that we all go through shit. We all in this walk together. I can give you something valuable, you can give me something valuable. We all can eat, but if you too busy trying to starve everybody else, then you're gonna you take away from that food that's out there and all that stuff that's these great things that are out there because you're trying to be selfish. We're in this together. White, black, brown, or in between. It doesn't matter. Purple. Whatever color I love everybody. I won't say I don't see color because I do see color. If I were a proponent of that, it changed October of 2014 because that's when that happened to me with the police. And I was always aware of that before, but it's just we need to be more kind to each other. We need to be more loving to each other. And it really upsets me when we don't express that love to one another. So that's something that really kind of upsets me, but at the same time, I'm very unbothered. So because I try to see things from different perspectives and different lenses.